This week on Taste Utah, we're talking soil, seeds, and true food superstars. We're in Moab at Easy Bee Farms. We know the food we eat in restaurants all over the state has to start somewhere, and it starts from a simple seed. Our food stories begin in the microbiomes of nutrient-rich soil. Tilling and broad forking the ground in Moab, Easy Bee Farms has been cultivating, curating, and creating fertile soil in southern Utah and growing food not only for restaurants, but the community as a whole.
Taste Utah is always bringing you local flavors from seeds to our authentically Utah restaurants. Behind every good food story is a great people story. It's our farmers, artisans, chefs, restaurateurs, and hospitality professionals that make Utah a dining destination. Food is a necessity, and it's how we cultivate it, share it, and experience it together that truly creates our unique community. You always have a seat at this table. Are you ready to taste Utah? We're in Moab, and we are heading to Easy Bee Farm. Rhonda, farmer, owner, proprietor, she is growing some of the most epic produce that Moab has to offer. Everyone raves about her. Restaurant chefs can't get enough of her. And we're gonna talk to her about the breadth of her farm. She's growing fruits, vegetables. She's even growing flowers. And I cannot wait to meet her. Let's go. Hi, Katy.
Oh my gosh, how magical is this space? I mean,
Been a while in the process,
I
in the
bet.
making.
Yeah, it's so unexpected. I mean, you know, people talk about Moab sometimes like it's such a desert. It's the desert of eastern Utah, and like the only things living here are tourists and locals that are like driving on the slick rock. But you're actually tilling the soil. You're farming produce for all of the local restaurants, for all of the people that live here.
Moab is a historic fertile valley.
Yeah.
So there were fruit trees, and when the settlers came here, they saw that the water came straight from the mountain, our own source, and came down through the valley, and they put it to use to feed the people. Moab is a place where there are more backyard gardeners and front yard gardeners than anywhere I've ever seen.
How long have you been farming?
I moved here 30 years ago and I had my first garden that year.
Okay.
I had just a small space downtown, renting, you know, and I just transitioned that whole yard. And then my neighbors came and they were like, don't you need more space and want to grow in our yard? And I was like, sure. So I'd start terracing and farming my neighbors' yards. And then where I lived was temporary. And people were like, why are you doing this? Because you rent. You don't even
it's like not your
own.
land.
This is not even your place. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm here. It's now, you know?
Making it better just because you're there.
Yes.
Yes, I love that.
Yes. I got together with a friend when I knew I was going to have to leave my rental space after I lived there 12 or so years.
Wow.
And I got together with a friend and she was like, well, what are you looking for? And I was like, I'm looking for good soil with a creek running through it.
Yeah.
You know,
I need like a couple of things to make something go.
So we took a 5-acre parcel, and at that time it was more reasonable to buy. But we subdivided. She got 2 acres, I got 2 acres, and we sold an acre. And since we have bought that acre back.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that's the farm stand and the new addition to
Okay, so you're creating right now on that space. There's nothing yet happening, but there's
an old building that we're moving. We have our chicken coop over there.
Oh, okay.
It's quite developed, but we had to take that old building and transform it into a processing center, basically.
What are you growing on the farm? What are these 3 acres?
Fruit and vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables.
We try to grow a wide variety for our CSA members because we have 6 or 7 different crops in each basket every week.
It's amazing. So you're doing like, are you doing like peppers or?
Peppers, tomatoes, eggplant.
Oh,
Those are our
nice.
summer,
Okay.
all the summer crops that we squash.
Squash, love that. I think we saw some of your radishes on a plate at 98 Center.
It's a wonderful relationship. They're our favorite. And actually the flowers that we grow, we've always grown flowers for the biodiversity and for the insect benefits. And we've always placed flowers in our vegetable fields for that. And so then the flower share is kind of a new thing. I'm like, well, we should cut these flowers and
Love that. Sell them.
and sell them.
Yeah.
And we sell those shares like we sell out as soon as we post them.
Not only are you opening like your home to people and to employees that work for you, and when people come and pick up their CSAs and things like that, but you are also utilizing the land that you have to actually feed and care for people. And so you really are opening your heart, your home, and all your resources to the community, which I think is so special.
It gives me so much when the CSA member comes up to me and they're like, and then I'm like, okay, I'm doing it right, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think I'm creating a feeling more than anything.
Yeah.
Like in the community and I mean, the farm started with friends, basically.
This is beyond. This is like a fairy tale.
I just have decided to get more into the flowers, and so I've offered weekly shares.
Okay, which
flowers.
means that people can sign up for weekly fresh flowers.
They sign up in usually March or April.
Okay.
And then this year I did 22 weeks.
Wow.
Every
That's a
week, bouquets for 10 people. And I'm learning about succession planting, some things that I want to do that for in the future.
Yeah.
But this space traditionally grew all of our CSA members shares vegetables.
Okay.
There's just like 11 rows here that are 25 feet long.
The colors just pop against the backdrop of the landscape, and you feel like you're in some fairy tale magical land that you've just been transported to on the other side of Moab.
I'm out here usually 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
Like on Mondays I come out and I clean and I cut and I prune and I clean stuff up, and then Tuesday's my early morning is my cutting day, because then when I come out and cut for my bouquets, I have choice selections and it's not confusing.
Yes.
You know, like would get rid of that one right now, and
Okay.
you know,
You're just gonna go for it?
I'm gonna
Yes.
go for it.
Just get rid of it.
So
Yeah. And then you just get to throw it down in the earth, because that's the most beautiful thing. Is
sometimes
like
with the big ones I'll collect them.
Yeah. But
Everything
it
goes
needs
to the
that
compost.
decomposition. That's what actually creates life.
Dahlias, there's a lot of short stemmed.
Okay.
So actually early in the season, and it's a hard thing to do, you want to pinch it back and you can go deep.
Okay.
And you might take a couple buds and you know you're losing flowers, but then that pushes up new ones
Okay.
and stem lengths that you can use in bouquets.
Uh-huh.
Because like this right here, see where that joint is right there?
Yeah.
And that's spent, if I cut out, then these will continue to grow and push the bud up, and it'll give me a stem that'll fit into it.
I love that intention. I think, you know, I'm not a gardener. I would love to be, and I just haven't spent enough time in the garden with flowers and plants. But even thinking about that, looking and saying like, okay, where's my stem length? Oh, it's just this little nubbin. If I get rid of just this little nubbin, actually 3 or 4 other beautiful blossoms might take hold with long, beautiful stems.
And I think people are intimidated by cutting it because you're like, because they're perfect oftentimes.
Beautiful.
And if I go in and I take those perfect flowers and they have a short stem and just remove them, then I get this, basically.
Listen, it's the story of life, right? You look and you see like, oh, this looks like it could be perfect, but if I just remove what looks perfect, it actually creates the space for more abundance or for more life.
Because this takes a lot of energy, the bloom. And then that spent bloom even draws more energy out of the plant. If you just remove that, then the energy gets to be free to
I love that. You're freeing the energy. You're actually nourishing the plant by taking something or pruning something that may appear perfect but is actually sort of blocking the energy. I want to stay here all day. I want to live here, and I can't. And yes, put me to work suddenly. I'm going to be interning. And be like, where'd Katy go? She sleeps outside in the flower garden. This is so life-sustaining on so many different levels. Just heart, soul, connection to life. But I feel like we should probably go taste some things in the actual farm.
Look at the vegetables.
Can we do that?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. Let's do it. Oh, I don't want to leave you. I love you so much. I mean, look at that. It's amazing.
So this field, right, that we're standing in right now was green manured for 3 years. And what a green manure is it's any plant that you can put on the soil. You can cut it and incorporate that organic matter into the soil.
Okay.
And then all the microorganisms come to that organic matter, and you add water, of course, and they start breaking it down.
So green manure isn't necessarily like green poop.
It's not manure at all. I mean, it's plant manure, plant matter.
Plant decomposition.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's organic matter. I did 3 crops a year usually, and buckwheat was this is buckwheat. We mow it down or cut it down and then till it into the soil.
Okay.
Put it into the soil. And eventually we can go less and less till.
Yeah.
If we start building the organic matter into the soil.
What does tilling do for the soil?
It allows you to incorporate and it aerates. Sand can just pack down and it has no nutrient in it, so tilling that organic matter in and tilling itself, I'm not opposed to tilling it with the right application. I think that we wouldn't have created this soil without tilling.
Yeah.
We also use broad fork, and that's for aeration and bed prep. So you've seen the broad fork?
Yeah, I actually up at Gracie's farm in Wanship, that's how they don't till, they just broad fork.
Yes.
But the soil up there is so different than like desert soil or desert sand down here. Yeah.
Yes. Every green plant, as long as it's not diseased or having problems like that, go into our compost. Okay. And we have a mountain of compost every year that we, in the spring we can lay down a 1 or 2 inch layer on a row till, kind of get it incorporated into the top and plant.
In order for anything to grow, there has to be decomposition. And it's that beautiful balance and harmony of allowing for all of that, like we just talked about the flowers, with a little bit of structure, especially when you're growing in a way where you're truly trying to be sustainable to your community and to your restaurateurs and to yourself. It's such a delicate, beautiful ecosystem symbiosis that has to occur.
We have so many rows that we take out of production every year to do the green manuring and the composting, and we just make that happen.
So I feel like we should eat something.
We have some really good radishes, and then we have also right behind us cucumbers.
Cucumbers? Okay. I'm gonna forage a radish, and then can I forage a cucumber?
Absolutely.
And I call it foraging, even though it's not, because I can see them right here. But it makes me feel, And
but some are better than others, maybe.
What am I looking for here with a radish?
Plump, round, and sticking out of the ground is ready.
Like that?
Yep.
I just don't want to pull too many.
Look at that.
Ah! Look at that.
Aww.
It is perfect. You can see where it was just sitting in the soil and where it's just been chilling. So now in order to eat this, do you remove this?
We always have all of our harvesters leave all the soil.
Yeah, I love it.
As much as you can here, because we don't want it in the kitchen, and we don't, and so
turn it off.
Do we need a little water? I would just,
I'm just gonna take a bite of it, or just.
You're gonna get a lot of sand.
Listen, what I'll tell you is I've never been afraid to pull something out of the soil and just eat it.
Here,
I feel like there's nothing wrong with this sand, and you're organic farming, right?
Yes.
So it's not like I'm gonna get a ton of pesticides in my mouth.
No.
Yeah, I feel like the soil and the sand, it's just like the best flavor and texture you can have.
There you go. Less sand on the.
I mean, it's spicy, it's flavorful. And the cool thing about radishes is you can use all of these greens as well because they have that still flavorful kind of peppery quality. All right, I'm gonna eat one more bite. This is so good. Okay, now I'm gonna go harvest a cucumber. Teamwork makes the dream work. Just right there.
Yep.
Oh, and it's so spiky. No.
This is probably a Japanese cucumber.
Oh, Japanese. Okay, cool. All right. And then, what if I just broke it? Is that rude?
No.
Like, I'm very rugged in my field consumption. Oh my gosh. It's almost sweet. I've heard that you also grow garlic. Is that?
So we start planting. The CSA ends the first or second week in October. Then we start planting all of our garlic, which we save seed for, in storage. And so we have our seed garlic that we pull up from storage, separate the bulbs in the cloves, and we have a dibbler. And so then we lay those out, and we have that all done usually by the first week in November.
Yeah.
We have all of our garlic, which is probably 600 feet.
And what
rows.
varieties are you using? Is it
Our
just one or-
mainstay that we've been growing for 10 years is early Italian purple.
Oh, those are yummy.
Yeah, and they're fat,
Yeah.
and they're a soft neck garlic. And we sell seed in the community. We save the biggest and the best bulbs
Okay.
to replant.
That's like the coolest thing about garlic, and I think that sometimes you don't think about it, but it's like that's how you grow it. Is you just replant the seed. It's so cool. I feel like we've gotten such a breadth of the farm, and I think it would be fun to go visit what's next on the farm, which is this farm stand. Could we head there?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. It's just so pretty. I love it. So, all right.
So this is
So this is basically future farm stand.
future farm stand.
So will this be where like people come pick up their CSA?
Pick up their CSA shares. If
Okay.
they've ordered anything online, they're gonna pick it up here. There's gonna be plenty of refrigerator space.
And you were actually showing me the space where there's going to be this like epic farm table.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
so future plans are perhaps like farm dinners and things like that.
Yes.
It's important for people to see where their food comes from, to know where it's grown. And so when you come to a farm dinner, it's about like, oh, this fun community experience, and sometimes it can just feel like just kind of nostalgic, but it's also so special to be able to come and say like, I'm eating this radish or this cucumber, and it was literally picked from there like that day, and I'm tasting it the way this chef would prepare it. So it's like that symbiosis and that synergy we were talking about earlier, all coming together in one beautiful connection. And for those people who would like to sample what it is Easy Bee Farms does, what are some ways that they can do that? Do they sign up for the CSA? I mean, we tell them go to these restaurants because that's so awesome and so great.
Yes.
But if they want to support you, separate from that, farm stand coming
So the
spring of
online or for next spring,
spring
March.
of 2023.
Yes.
Okay, so farm stand spring of
Yes.
2023,
Yes.
and then you've gone online, you've gone digital.
We only started out with weekly CSAs every week, but we figured out there's a lot of food in our weekly CSAs.
Yes.
And so we didn't fit that niche for the single person or the older person who doesn't eat that much. So now we have a bi-weekly CSA.
Oh, that's wise.
And we have a one-time buy box.
Okay.
So we have 4 of those a week that we offer.
Yes.
They can go online and grab it, on the Wednesday before.
Yes.
And a lot of people do. They know when it's going to get posted, and they go in and they grab that one-time buy. So I like that we've expanded in that way and we can reach more people
Yes.
by diversifying like that.
I mean, I just have to, like, I could stay here. Number one, I should give these back to you. Like, I have felt very privileged. I know that these are like a big
They
deal.
have my initial on them.
I have a friend who was a gardener for a long time, still has like her set, you know, and it's like, what are the name of them? There's like isn't there like a brand? Velcro. Yep, Velcro. Like, yeah, and that was like when you knew
Yes.
so we know they're very special and sacred.
My key people, I always make sure I gift them with a pair of Velcros.
Yeah, and I won't take them from you. But what I will say is that I would like spend a month down here interning. Like the feeling, like you said at the beginning, that is evoked when you come onto your property is unrivaled. Just to be sort of like nestled in what I do consider like sacred space in Utah, where you're protected by the mesas and the cliffs and the red rock and the slick rock, and people come from all over the world to just get to see it. And for you to be living here and then think, you know, I just want to start a garden because I want to do it for myself, and then I'm going to do it for my community, and then it's like, why not do a farm, and why not spend 3 years with a green manure, which is my new favorite word, by the way, and learn how to create fertile soil so that I can then nourish and take care of my community and continue to expand in a way where you're not just over-expanding, everyone's feeling burnt out, but to really keep the integrity and the heart and soul of a place. Like, that's the terroir. They talk about it, you know, like, what's that terroir in that bottle of wine? Like, the terroir in that radish. And then you get to eat it at 98 Center, and there's just such a feeling of love and wholeness here. And it really is such a gift to our state. So just thank you. Thank you for your time and just for educating me.